Do you want to make sourdough but have no idea where to start? Well, don't worry, it's not too hard. In this video, we are going to go through every step in the process of making sourdough for the first time. So make sure to watch until the end so you can get started on your very first loaf today. Sourdough starts with something called a starter. Most bread recipes will use yeast in order to make it rise. Sourdough uses a natural process to make the bread rise. So to make our starter, weigh out 120 grams of flour, then weigh out 120 grams of room temperature water. Regular sink water will work just fine for this. And then add it to the jar with flour. Using a fork, mix it together until there are no more lumps of flour and all the flour has been properly hydrated. We are now going to cover the jar. The easiest way to do this is using saran wrap and a rubber band, then store at room temperature for 48 hours. After 2 days, we are going to do something called feeding the starter. Start by removing half of the old starter and discard it. Then add 60 grams of fresh water and 60 grams of flour and mix it all together. If you want to learn how to make more bread recipes like this, then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss all future videos coming out. We are going to repeat this process daily for a week. After a week, you can leave it in the fridge and just feed it once a week or whenever you use it. Now that we've made our starter, to make our sourdough, start by adding 250 grams of water to a mixing bowl, followed by 25 grams of olive oil. Make sure to hit the like button if you have learned something new so far in this video. Now time for our starter. Weigh out 150 grams of our bubbly active starter. Pour that into the water and oil and give it a whisk until fully combined. Now time for flour. I'm using high gluten flour, but you can use bread flour, or if all you have is all-purpose flour, that works fine. Though using a flour with a higher gluten percentage will yield a better result. So into your mixing bowl, add 500 grams of flour. For our final ingredient, and to really make the flavor stand out, add 10 grams of fine sea salt. Now it's time to mix it all together. If you are interested in learning how bread works and how it's made, then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss all future videos coming out. Then cover the bowl with saran wrap and make sure it's fully sealed around so the gases don't escape. Then give it its mandatory smiley face. After 30 minutes, give it a couple stretch and folds to help it build height for later on in the oven. And then recover it and let it rise for 3 more hours in a warm area. In a large Dutch oven or in a cast iron skillet, place a piece of parchment paper and your shaped dough and let it rise for another 30 minutes. Now it's time to score the dough. The reason we score our dough is in order that the steam can escape and expand during baking. You can just make a simple slash down the middle or be adventurous and make a bunch of different designs. Place the lid on top, or in this case, use foil to trap in all the steam. Place in your oven preheated to 400 degrees and bake covered for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the cover and bake for an additional 40 minutes until it's deep golden brown. Now time to enjoy your very first loaf of sourdough. If you enjoyed learning how to make sourdough, then make sure to watch this Artisan Bread Masterclass. Enjoy!